Success leaves clues. Be a better observer of the winners and the losers. Jim Rohn, let's begin today with a profound truth that Jim Rohn spent his entire life teaching. Success is not an accident. It's a system, it's a result, and more importantly, it leaves clues. Think about it. Every successful person you admire, whether it's in business, relationships, health, or personal growth, did not reach greatness by random chance. No, they followed principles, practiced disciplines, and built habits that led them there. And the good news is, you can do it too. Jim Rohn's message was always simple but powerful. If you want to be successful, study success. If you want to be wealthy, study wealth. If you want to be healthy, study health. Why try to reinvent the wheel when others have already carved out the road? But here's the catch. Most people aren't studying. Most are wishing, waiting, or wondering. They live reactively, drifting through life with no compass, no blueprint, no intention. What Jim taught was this: success is intentional. Failure is also intentional. Maybe not consciously, but through repeated neglect, repeated excuses, and repeated laziness, failure accumulates. Let's use a simple metaphor, a garden. You don't have to deliberately plant weeds for them to grow. Just neglect the soil, do nothing, let it sit. Weeds will grow on their own. Success, however, is like a well-kept garden. You must plant the right seeds. Daily, you must water them. Consistently, you must remove the weeds regularly. You must protect it from pests. That's called discipline. And what happens when you do all that? In time, the harvest arrives. Not overnight, but it does arrive. Jim Rohn often said, "Success is neither magical nor mysterious. Success is the natural consequence of consistently applying the basic fundamentals." That means anyone can succeed if they decide to learn the fundamentals and stick with them. But here's the first key: you must become a student of life. You must observe, take notes, and adapt. Watch the successful and ask, what are they doing that I'm not? Study their routines, their mindset, their work ethic. Study their failures too, because even failures leave clues. This part of the journey is about opening your eyes, becoming a seeker, watching with purpose, listening with focus, learning with urgency. You don't need more motivation, you need a model. You don't need more time, you need a template. You don't need miracles, you need methods, because the great truth is this: success is learnable, and if it's learnable, then it's transferable. That means it's possible for you. Are you willing to study it? Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Jim Rohn wishing is easy. Wishing requires no effort. Just sit back, close your eyes, and imagine how nice it would be if life handed you everything you ever wanted. A big bank account, a beautiful home, a thriving business, a fit and healthy body. But here's the reality Jim Rohn laid out with piercing clarity. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Don't wish for fewer challenges, wish for more wisdom. That's the mindset of a champion. That's the shift that turns daydreamers into doers, because here's the cold, hard truth. Life doesn't give you what you wish for. It gives you what you're prepared for. Think about that. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is filled with personal growth. It's not filled with luck. It's not filled with magic. It's not even filled with motivation. It's filled with you becoming worthy of what you want. Jim didn't say, set a goal and hope for the best. He said, set a goal so it will make something of you to achieve it. That's the point of the goal. It's not what you get. It's what you become in the process. If you set a goal to earn $1 million, that's great. But the money isn't the real win. The real win is the discipline, the courage, the risk-taking, the consistency, and the strategy you have to develop in order to get there. So let's ask the real question. Are you becoming someone worthy of the dreams you say you want? If you want better results, you need to become a better version of yourself. If you want a stronger body, you must adopt stronger habits. If you want deeper relationships, you must grow into a deeper person. If you want a successful business, you must develop the mindset and skills of a successful entrepreneur. Wishing won't do it, becoming will. Jim Rohn made this truth easy to understand. Success is something you attract by the person you become. And that's incredibly empowering because it means you're not waiting on the world, you're not at the mercy of luck, you're not stuck in a system designed to keep you down. No, you have the power to grow, to change, to develop, to rise. It's not about wishing anymore, it's about working. It's not about waiting anymore, it's about becoming. When you truly understand that, you'll stop being frustrated by your results. You'll start being fascinated by what you're capable of creating. Because the truth is, your best life is not found, it's forged. And you're the blacksmith. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines, practiced every day. Jim Rohn, if there's one word that separates the successful from the struggling, it's this: discipline. Jim Rohn said it best. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. You see, setting a goal is easy. Anyone can do that. Wishing for a better life, that's common. But following through daily on the actions that bring that life into reality, that's rare. Discipline is the difference between intention and execution, between dreams and results. And here's what Jim taught you. That's so profound. You don't need massive changes overnight. You just need small disciplines done consistently. Let's break that down. Reading 10 pages of a good book each day may not seem like much, but over a year, that's 650 pages. A dozen books that could shift your thinking, upgrade your habits, and completely transform your philosophy. Waking up 30 minutes earlier each day might not sound like a revolution, but over a year, that's over 180 hours. Time you can use to reflect, plan, exercise, study, and grow. Writing down your goals each morning may take just 5 minutes, but those minutes anchor your day with purpose and clarity, giving your subconscious direction and your choices focus. These are not monumental tasks, but they're powerful because they're done daily. Jim warned us, though, failure is just a few errors in judgment, repeated every day, skipping the workout, ignoring the book, spending hours on distractions, postponing important conversations, letting emotions control decisions. These don't destroy your life in a day, but day by day they compound. The truth is, everything compounds. Success compounds. So does failure. Imagine a bank account. Every day you make a small deposit. At first it seems insignificant, but with time the balance grows. Compound interest begins to kick in, and suddenly you have something valuable. Something earned. Your life works the same way. Every decision is a deposit or a withdrawal. Every habit is shaping your future, brick by brick. And here's the best part. You're always one decision away from changing your direction. Jim Rohn often said, you cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. If you've been drifting, start steering. If you've been delaying, start acting. If you've been reacting, start designing, because all transformation begins with a decision. The decision to show up, to grow up, to take responsibility, to commit to the disciplines that build greatness. And you don't need to change everything today. Just one thing, one decision, one habit. One new standard. Start small, but start strong, because every great future is built on a foundation of daily disciplines, and when you master your disciplines, you begin to master your destiny. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Jim Rohn, take a moment to think about the 5 people you're closest to. Who are they? What do they value? What are their habits? How do they think? How do they treat their time, their money, their goals? Now ask yourself, are they lifting you higher or pulling you down? Jim Rohn believed deeply in the power of association. He taught that your environment is not neutral. It either sharpens you or dulls you. It either feeds your ambition or slowly poisons it. Here's why. Human beings adapt. We mirror the behaviors, beliefs, and energy of the people around us, even if we don't realize it. If you spend enough time around complainers, you'll find something to complain about. If you surround yourself with procrastinators, you'll start justifying your own delays. If you're constantly in the presence of people who don't believe in personal growth, guess what? You'll begin to shrink your dreams to fit in. But the opposite is also true. Spend time around the ambitious and you'll start raising your standards. Spend time around the disciplined and you'll start valuing routine. Spend time with thinkers, readers, builders, creators, and soon enough you'll become one too. That's why Jim would say, you can't hang around chickens and expect to soar like an eagle. It's not about judgment, it's about alignment. Who you spend time with is who you become. So here's a hard but necessary question. Who in your life do you need to distance yourself from? Not with hate, not with arrogance, but with wisdom. And equally important, who do you need to get closer to? Who inspires you, who challenges you, who is living at a level you aspire to reach? Jim Rohn called this the power of purposeful association. You seek out those who push you to grow. You expose yourself to better conversations, deeper thinking. Higher standards. If you can't find those people in person, find them in books, in podcasts, in seminars, in videos. Your mentors don't have to know you, but you can still learn from them. Remember, environment is stronger than willpower. So if you're relying solely on internal motivation to grow, you'll burn out. But if your environment supports your growth, you'll thrive. Imagine the person you want to become. Now imagine the kind of people that version of you would spend time with. Find them, learn from them, get around them, because when your circle changes, your standards change. And when your standards change, your life changes. It all begins with who you surround yourself with. Choose wisely. Time is more valuable than money. You can get more money, but you cannot get more time. Jim Rohn, let's talk about your most precious resource. Not money, not talent, not even energy, but time. Jim Rohn made it crystal clear. Time is the great equalizer. Every person on the planet, rich or poor, young or old, gets the same 24 hours in a day. The difference, how we use those hours. You don't control how much time you're given in this life, but you do control how you spend it. And that one decision, how you spend your time, is what separates the average from the extraordinary. Jim would often say, don't waste your time on things that won't matter in the long run. But look around, how many people are doing exactly that? Hours lost to social media, gossip, scrolling, complaining, procrastinating, binge, watching, living in reaction instead of creation. But here's the truth, every moment is a seed. What you plant now, you harvest later. If you plant distraction, you harvest regret. If you plant discipline, you harvest success. If you plant excuses, you harvest stagnation. If you plant focus, you harvest progress. Jim Rohn taught that time management is not about clocks. It's about values. It's about becoming the kind of person who refuses to waste life on the trivial. So ask yourself honestly, what is stealing my time? What are you saying yes to that you should be saying no to? What would happen if, just for the next 30 days, you treated time like gold, guarding it, investing it, using it with purpose? Because the truth is, you are either managing your time or your time is managing you. And here's something even deeper. Jim often reminded us, either you run the day or the day runs you. That means if you don't wake up with a plan, your day will be hijacked by distractions, other people's priorities, and emotional impulses. That's why the most successful people in the world all have one thing in common, a morning routine. They don't leave the day to chance. They take charge of it. Before the world wakes up, they're already focused, grounded, aligned. And over time, those hours add up. A year of intentional mornings will outperform a lifetime of chaotic ones. So here's the challenge. Audit your time. Track it for a week. Look at the numbers. What are you really doing with your 24 hours? Then start small. Replace 30 minutes of mindless activity with 30 minutes of intentional growth. Reading, journaling, learning, building, because every day you waste is a day you can't get back, but every day you maximize. That's a deposit into your future. That's a vote for your dreams. Remember, money lost can be regained. Time lost is gone forever. So don't just spend your time. Invest it. Your personal philosophy is the major determining factor in how your life works out. Jim Rohn, what is personal philosophy? It's not just what you believe. It's how you live. It's the lens through which you see the world. It's the silent blueprint behind every decision you make, every risk you take, and every result you experience. Jim Rohn often said, if you want to change your life, you must change your philosophy. Because here's the truth, we don't get what we want, we get what we are, and what we are is shaped by how we think, our core beliefs, values, and principles. Your philosophy governs how you respond to failure, how you approach opportunity, how you treat people, how you handle money, how you use your time, how you face adversity, how you grow or stagnate. It's the silent architect of your destiny. But most people, they've never examined their philosophy. They inherited it from their parents, from their environment, from school, from media, and sadly, many are operating on outdated, broken philosophies without even knowing it. Jim Rohn's genius was helping people realize this. You can build a new philosophy, one that serves your future, one that empowers your growth. But how do you do that? First, become a seeker of better ideas. Don't just live, reflect. Don't just accept, question. Don't just consume, evaluate. Ask yourself, what do I believe about success, about failure, about discipline, about money, about relationships, about growth? Then ask, where did those beliefs come from? Are they serving me or limiting me? Second, read and study. Jim Rohn said, miss a meal if you have to, but don't miss a book, because books contain philosophies that have stood the test of time. They challenge your thinking, they sharpen your insight, they stretch your mind. Third, spend time with thinkers. Listen to those who have built lives of excellence. Watch how they think, how they reason, how they solve problems. Their philosophy can shape yours. And finally, practice what you learn. Philosophy is not just for talking, it's for living. When you apply better thinking, you build better results. Jim put it plainly, if someone is wealthy and happy, study what they read, what they think, what they believe. Success leaves clues. Here's a practical truth. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your philosophy. So if your life isn't where you want it to be, don't just look at your bank account or your habits or your relationships. Look at your thinking. Upgrade that, and the rest begins to follow. Remember, the mind is the factory. The results are the products. If you want different results, you need a different factory. Start building a philosophy that matches the life you desire, because that's where transformation truly begins. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. If you work hard on your job, you can make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune. Jim Rohn, this quote might be one of the most life-altering statements Jim Rohn ever made. Why? Because it shifts the focus from external results to internal transformation. Most people spend all their energy working in their life, chasing the next paycheck, handling the next task, solving the next problem. But they rarely pause to work on themselves, and that's the biggest mistake. Jim understood something most people never learn. Your income rarely exceeds your personal development. You don't grow your bank account by demanding more from the world. You grow it by becoming more valuable to it. It's simple. You get paid for the value you bring to the marketplace, and the more you grow, the more value you can offer. So what does it mean to work on yourself? It means building your skills, communication, leadership, focus, consistency. It means developing your mindset, resilience, gratitude, courage, emotional intelligence. It means upgrading your habits, how you think, how you plan, how you treat your time, how you execute. It means deepening your character, your integrity, your reliability, your attitude. This kind of personal development isn't flashy. It won't go viral. It's not easy to post on social media, but it's what creates the invisible infrastructure behind every truly successful person. You may work 40 hours a week on your job, but the question is, how many hours are you investing in your personal growth? Jim often said, formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. This doesn't mean you have to abandon your job. It means you use your job as a classroom, a training ground, a place to practice discipline, service, excellence, and innovation. But the real work, the deep, transformative work, happens when you decide to develop yourself outside of your job. Read the books, watch the seminars, take the notes, reflect on your day, ask better questions, push your limits, because as Jim would say, success is not to be pursued. It is to be attracted by the person you become. So here's a challenge. Stop chasing success and start becoming someone worth chasing. Work harder on your attitude than your resume. Work harder on your mindset than your image. Work harder on your discipline than your desires. Work harder on your wisdom than your status, because the better you get, the better life gets. Remember, your job may give you a paycheck, but your growth gives you a future, and that future is not built by chance. It's built by choice. We must all suffer one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Jim Rohn, everything we've talked about, discipline, time, growth, philosophy, environment, all of it builds towards something greater, legacy. Jim Rohn wasn't just a businessman or a speaker. He was a guide, a mentor, a man who turned his own journey into a roadmap for millions. He followed the clues of those who came before him, and then became a clue for those who came after. That's the real win, to not just succeed, but to become someone worth modeling. So ask yourself, what kind of life am I building? Not just for me, but as an example for others. Will your children be able to look at your life and say, asterisk, that's how you do it? Will your friends, coworkers, and community be inspired by how you lived? Will your name mean something more than just a title or a resume? Because here's what Jim knew. Success is not just about achievement, it's about contribution. It's about using your growth to lift others. It's about turning your scars into stories, your setbacks into lessons, your wisdom into guidance. Every time you overcome a fear, you leave a clue for someone else. Every time you show up with discipline, you inspire someone silently watching. Every time you choose integrity over convenience, you lead. This is the deeper meaning of success, not the cars or the money or the applause, but the impact. You may not realize it, but right now, someone is watching how you live, how you talk, how you treat yourself, how you bounce back. You're already a model for someone. The only question is, are you modeling greatness or mediocrity? Jim Rohn reminded us often, let others lead small lives, but not you. Let others argue over small things, but not you. Let others cry over small hurts, but not you. Let others leave their future in someone else's hands, but not you. Don't just follow the clues, become one. Be the kind of person who proves that discipline works. Be the kind of person who shows that growth is possible. Be the kind of person who lives a life of purpose, principle, and possibility. And when your time comes, you'll know you didn't just pass through this life. You shaped it, you contributed, you mattered. That's the final lesson from Jim Rohn. The major value in life is not what you get. The major value in life is what you become. So become the example, become the clue. And in doing so, become the legacy, because someone, someday, will follow in your footsteps. Make sure those footsteps lead somewhere great.